Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Wednesday, November 30th. Tomorrow we start the first day of December, and again, we've already switched the pattern around somewhat. We're becoming much more active, and we're certainly going to be watching for the potential for a major winter storm late next week. Not necessarily for our area, but something we're going to want to watch. The models are pretty much all over the place with themselves and with the other models. So again, I think we're going to want to pay attention here as we get into next week. Right now it looks like unsettled weather through much of the weekend. We're going to have some scattered showers, and then as the nighttime temperatures cool, we can see some of those in the form of snow showers. No major accumulations expected. The first chance of seeing some accumulating snow looks like it's going to come over the weekend. As we get into Sunday and Sunday night, we could see some light accumulations, maybe an inch or 2 to 3 inches in some areas. And then again, we got a wet system coming in for Tuesday, with a surge of warm air, and then we're going to watch for a potential major storm that'll move in towards the end of next week, and that could bring an all-out blizzard to parts of the Great Lakes or Midwest. Right now it looks like Wisconsin seems to be in the bullseye, and into southeast Minnesota, possibly into the Upper Peninsula. But again, we're going to want to watch this very closely, and there's some very cold air comes in behind the storm. Our normals for the day, our normal high is 39, the normal low is 24. And if we look at the highest temperatures across the U.S. yesterday, the lower 48, 94 degrees at Edinburgh and at McAllen, Texas, and the cold temperature minus 11 degrees at Crested Butte, Colorado. And with a name like that, you deserve to be 11 degrees below zero. If we look at the temperatures and conditions around the area yesterday here, our temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 50s across much of the area. The warm spot, Lansing at 58, and Owego, the cool spot at 41. And if we look at conditions around the area this morning, you can see temperatures mainly in the 40s, low to mid 40s, and again, that's above normal. And we expect our temperatures today will warm up into the low 50s across much of the area, upper 40s to low 50s for another warm day. And currently, we are running at 7 degrees above normal per day for the month of November. So November is going to go in the book certainly as a very warm month as well. And if we look at precipitation here over the last 7 days, you can see most of the lower peninsula are around 150 degrees above normal, or 150% of normal, and in much of the area from southwest lower Michigan into the northeast part of the state, we've seen over 200% of the normal precipitation here over the last week. So it's been a very wet turnaround here after a pretty long dry spell that allowed harvest to wrap up for most people. And if we look at the water vapor satellite imagery, you can see all that moisture off to the southeast of us. And again, we got some pretty cold cloud tops, and this is a lot of snow back here in the western portions of the Dakotas, where winter storm warnings continue to fly, as they've picked up an awful lot of snow there over the last several days. On radar, you can see much needed rainfall across areas around Kentucky down into Tennessee, where they've had all the wildfires. So certainly good news for that area. And you can see the snow flying back off to the west. If we look at the next shot, you can see the 2-meter winds. You can see all that moisture coming up out ahead of that cold front. And then you can see our strong low pressure system here across eastern Minnesota. Again, that's going to move off to the northeast. That's going to sweep the cold front through later on, so we could have some showers. And again, at nighttime, we could see some rain and mixed snow showers, and then rain showers during the day, and then maybe some more snow showers tomorrow night. But overall, this is going to be a pretty normal pattern as far as temperatures here over the next several days, and then we'll warm up early next week, and before we see some very cold temperatures by the end of next week into the weekend. On the weather map this morning, you can see another low pressure system developing along that front. That's going to stay off to our south, but you can see severe storms expected across the deep south, and that low moving ever so slowly off towards Lake Superior, bringing that heavy snow back into the Dakotas. And if we look at the weather map by tomorrow morning, double barrel low pressure system again over Minnesota. That's going to keep that snow more on a scattered basis across the Dakotas. And again, for us, that cold front begins to sweep through, and that'll bring some lake effect snow showers as we get perhaps into the weekend. Again, they'll be quite scattered, but for the lower peninsula, rain and snow mix. And again, the excitement looks like it'll start early next week, and then again as we get towards the end of the week. As far as that system into Sunday, Monday, you can see parts of the area could see 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow Sunday and Sunday night, and some pretty good lake effect. Looks like it's going to begin to develop across the Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. And here's the storm as depicted by next Thursday by the GFS model. You can see a 970 millibar low just north of Lake Superior. That equates to 28.64, so that would be a very, very powerful storm, and that could bring some pretty windy conditions. As you can see, the tightly packed isobars across the state of Michigan, so wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of 30 to 40, maybe even close to 50-mile-an-hour winds if this storm does materialize. If we look at the snowfall off the Canadian for next week, you can see, as well as the GFS, the Canadian also picking up on the storm, bringing very, very heavy snows across parts of Iowa into Wisconsin, into the UP. And again, this would be a blizzard type conditions with the strong winds expected with that storm. And if we look at the next map, this is the precipitation off the GFS. It shows the 8-day precipitation up to 2 inches across much of the northwestern portions of the MAC area, with well over an inch across the thumb area. So this again is something we're going to be watching. Again, the models are all over the place from each other, from run to run, and against each other as well. So a lot of uncertainty as to next week's weather, but certainly it's an exciting weather pattern that could be developing across the area. And then behind that system, you can see temperatures will drop into the low 20s for Friday all the way into the weekend for some of the lower temperatures, with single digits across the lake in Wisconsin, back into Minnesota and the Dakotas. So some very, very cold. The coldest air of the season looks like it's going to be coming this way by late next week into next weekend. And if we look at Weather Watch this morning, you can see that area of heavy snows off into the Dakotas. Up to 17 inches of snow reported at Minot. So again, very crippling snows out there. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.